How's it going, guys? Oddly Unorthodox here with another replay from a 1v1 this time, as I know you guys do enjoy the occasional 1v1s. I've been trying to get a little bit better. I notice I haven't got many videos on the channel of sort of Slaanesh based videos or general Warriors of Chaos. So I've been trying a few different builds, and this game was extremely close. You know, fair play to my opponent who played really well. But I play this like a little bit of an idiot at the start, but I clutch it back and then he comes back. It's a real sort of proper game. He goes for an extremely wide ogre build, and I mean like there's loads of them. And then just to speed it up a little bit, there you go. I'd start moving my Chaos Warriors over to point 3. I've got some Marauder Horsemen throwing axes on point 1. Sending some Marauders over there. And I make a key mistake, something I always tell you guys not to do. I leave it massively open for my hell cannons to get caught. So that is what it is, I guess. But I'm not going to lie, I didn't really mind the hell cannons dying because they weren't doing anything whatsoever. Yeah. So we then push up. We've got the triple Chaos Warriors, we've got Azazel, and I see an opportunity here. So what I end up doing is I end up trading both my hell cannons, knowing that they're pretty much doomed to be flanked. That is just an inevitability. And I'll go take Scrag out. I'll trade hell cannons for Scrag. So you can see here that we managed to catch Scrag out by himself, and obviously Azazel's going to go to absolute work on Scrag. He doesn't really stand a chance. So we pop our little buffs. He obviously tries to pop buffs of his own to increase his damage, but there's no way he wins this. I end up rooting him in place, wanting him to break him as quick as possible and not risk a chance of running away. The Chaos Warriors are fighting this point quite well. And we've lost our hell cannons, but we end up taking quite a good fight here and chopping down some numbers. Obviously we're still capturing point 1. He's got point 2, and point 3 is in good contention. As you can see, we are taking a little bit of fire from the man-eaters and stuff like that. Are they man-eaters? Yep. But we really want to make sure we kill Scrag here. I could have retreated here, to be fair, but I think my attention must have lapsed elsewhere. Because he's shattered, he's going, he's not coming back. It's good to get rid of him, get rid of all of his magic, his AoE, so we can bin Scrag off nice and early. And I think he's a good 2,500 lords, so I don't think it's a bad thing to take him out early. He sends some Sabertusk to try and shut down what I've got going up top, but we can just sit and kite him. And then we're going to pull Azazel out now. We do drop the shards here. I'm quite happy with this fight. So we clean up back here, send the hell cannons, go and get rid of them. And then we send our units up to try and contest point number 2, as point 1 is ours. And at this point we're just happy throwing some axes at his Sabertusks. Killing a few off, breaking their leadership, knowing that you can't really contest that with just one squad. We then go to push up the middle. We've got point 3 with our 3 Chaos Warriors on it. Yeah, more than happy. We are winning in the gold damage value. He's sitting on a lot more supplies than I am, though. So we're going to continue this push up the middle, knowing that we can really sort of bulk our units up without worrying too much now that Scrag's gone. There's no sort of great more magic to worry us. Point 1's still under our control, and obviously point 3 is under our control, and now we're pushing up point 2. Get some early points in. He's really sitting on a lot of supplies. But you can see here that we're chopping away the Ogre Balls, getting the Marauders up. And he's spent them all to get some Iron Guts out. And he's still sat on some decent supplies, so you know, it's I'm more than happy for him for that. He's managing supplies a bit better than I am. You can see that I've brought out some more Chaos Spawn. I'm going with a very sort of Total War 1, Total War 2 multiplayer scheme, and the fact that you just go sort of Marauders, some Chaos Warriors, and a bunch of Chaos Spawn on top of them. And as you can see, I do pop the buff on them, and they just absolutely start shredding this combat to pieces. So point 1 is still ours, point 3 is still ours, and then we're pushing up on point 2 to now start capturing that. But the value is very close. Like, it's a very close game. And we're going to send some more Marauders over to try and get the bodies on here. The Chaos Warriors are trying to push them back to buy me a little bit of time. You can see Azazel's not having a great time. He's got himself some good value. And we've managed to chase these squads off. And now we've got Objective 2. Obviously, Objective 1's going to be a bit of an issue now. But I'm pretty sure we've dealt with that quite nicely. And then we're going to send the Chaos Warriors of Slaanesh up with the Hell Scourges. Nice pretty models. And we're going to move them up. You can see another shard's coming out the sky to hit the Ogre Balls. Don't think it's much damage though, if I'm honest, on these guys, but it does a little bit of damage, kills one model, takes a bit of HP off. Now you can see here we're now holding point 2, 3 and 1 still. So at this point you can see the victory ticket's going to skyrocket. But he's now got more gold damage value than me, and he's got a lot more units out. So I need to desperately try and hold these 3 points because I've really sort of expended. And my force is quite thin by forcing him to do this fight up here. Whereas now he's got, you know, it's a good 800 value. So all we're going to do here is hold the points for as long as humanly possible. And Mirror Guard coming out there, which unfortunately I dropped up here, but I wanted them to go down to point 3, so it's a bit unfortunate. And you can see now that it's catching up to 1,000 gold in his value, so we've just got to try and hold all 3 points as much as possible to try and buy me as much time. Because as soon as all these forces collapse on me in a proper fight, it's going to be a real struggle. Marauders there chasing something, we'll bring them back to the point, bring those Chaos Warriors back in. These Marauders have lost to them. Ah, wow. And you can see we're starting to get some Marauders out with throwing axes back again, just because we could do with the extra bodies and they're a bit faster than what else we've got going. If you guys do want to play Slaanesh a bit easier, you can go a heavy cavalry build. Plus with demonettes and stuff like that, and your units are just so unnaturally fast. But you can see here that Azazel's been getting a few kills here and there. I've been wondering maybe if Sigvald would have been a better option for this army. There's Chaos Warriors happy to take that fight. We send the Chaos Spawn in to take that fight. And then we've got some Chaos Warriors fighting some Ogre Balls here. Those Marauder Horsemen that have got no ammo are just chasing down those Iron Fists. And we are sending reinforcements. So he's now recaptured point 3. That's his point. We drop another spell on top of here, hoping this does a bit of damage. A little bit, not great, but a little bit. You can see the Mirror Guard are getting over there. Point 2 still mine, point 1 still mine for the minute. But they are being collapsed on pretty hard. So at this point you can see he's going to start catching back up quite quickly. But I'm hoping that we've got a good enough lead that we shouldn't have to worry about it. But you can see, you know, he's sat on quite a bit of supplies and now it's 1,200 value in his favour. So the Mirror Guard coming in. I'd love to give you more of an in-depth analysis of why I brought each unit, but I'm not that used to playing against Ogres, if I'm honest. So I just went for a sort of across-the-board Chaos Spawn Marauder, Chaos Warriors sort of build. Azazel being a bit of a different piece, but I'm not sure if Azazel was really that necessary, or I could have gone for Sigvald and saved a little bit of money and used it elsewhere. So point 2 still being held by us, but you know, he's still sat on nearly 1,000 supplies and the gold damage value is just getting higher. I'd do it again and drop more Chaos Warriors at the wrong respawn point. You can tell I've played about 6 or 7 games in a row because I've just been trying to find a nice game for you guys, and I'm struggling to find one lately. Really struggling to find a good game to upload. A lot of them are lag fests or they're stomps. Either way, I get stomped or the enemy gets absolutely stomped. And I just feel like the stomps aren't that much fun for you guys to watch, because I try to pride myself on knowing that we're a bit more of an educational channel. And I like to explain choices and things that I've found useful. And obviously I don't really want to just constantly showcase stomps. So you can see he's now spent all of his resources and he's brought a lot of ogres out. You know, 3 squads of ogres, 1 going to each objective, is going to be a bit of a struggle. He's now going to start catching up pretty fast because he's about to triple cap me. But we're going to hope to hold point 1 a little bit longer. If you find yourself in this position where now, you know, you're down 1,000 gold, but you've managed to get quite a good point lead early, especially if your force is faster than the enemy's, just go to the points that he's barely defending. We do buff our mirror guard there to give them a little bit extra chance at dealing with all these. And then we are sending more Chaos Warriors up to these points. We can't not send units to 1 point, because at the end of the day, then he's just going to move his whole army to the point I'm trying to move to. Because I don't have a lot of Slaanesh cavalry. If I was running a lot of Slaanesh cavalry, I could just run him around the map. You know, take a point, run to the next one, take a point, run to the next one. And just constantly hit him without him really knowing. So we managed to... This fight's not going too bad, even though he has sent more reinforcements. This fight's going pretty bad. And we're going to hope to claw back the fight on point 3 here. We did acquiescence the man-eaters just to sort of remove their defence. And you can see we've sent out an unholy horde of marauders to add some more bodies to point 2, while we try and sort of win the fight elsewhere. Is my thinking here, is to buy time so his whole blob stays fighting on point 2, and I can hopefully take the fight. Is that even more marauders I've just summoned? Yep. And I can hopefully take the point back on point 3. You can see that we are winning this fight. You know, it won't be too long until they've all broken off that point, and then that one should be ideally. There you go, it started capturing back now. But I need to sneakily take a second point. Obviously, I think I could win with just 1 point if the maths are correct, but it'd be damn close. So if we can sneakily take a second point, that would make me feel a lot better. Because at this point, I mean, I've caught up in the gold damage value quite nicely. It's down back to 800 now. And then you can see that capture point 3 is taken. There's not much he can do about that. And I am about to win number 1 back as well, sending some more marauders over just to fill some bodies. We send Azazel over here. We are saving for a certain unit in the hopes that it will give me the mobility that I need. I think it's a 1500 cost unit, so it's not especially cheap. And there they are there. The Swords of Chaos. Absolutely beautiful unit. And we're hoping I'll be able to put some work in with these guys. You can see that point 3 is held. Point 1 is being captured by me, but they are sending more. But I think I have got the bonus in the fact that, you know, I've got a lot more bodies on that point. So we should capture 1 again in a second, which will then take us back to, you know, you can see how quickly they've caught up. It's really quite amazing. But you can see there I lose Azazel, but he had no magic and he sort of fulfilled his purpose. So we've got point 1 and point 3, so now the enemy knows that he's got to desperately try and take one of these back off me. You know, at this point it's not looking too great for him, because yes, he's only 100 points behind, but being capped by 2 points is, especially at this late in the game when there's 500 points left, is not a great situation for him to be in. So we're quite happy to continue our fighting with the Ogre Balls. You know, we've got sheer numbers. A lot of the units are coming back, so we're going to send them up to make sure we don't lose the points quickly. And you can see that we're going to use the Swords of Chaos to really just harass the squads that are on the way to the bottom. He's brought out some Mournfang cavalry, which, you know, it matches my cavalry, so quite a nice play by him. But obviously he's anti-large armour piercing, so he wants them to really hit my Swords of Chaos, where my Swords of Chaos want to just beat on infantry. Which, even though, ogres count as large entities, I just forget about that. So I really could have done with some anti-large, if I'm honest. But we moved some Chaos Warriors up here, just to sort of make it out like I'm going to threaten to capture that second point. We're going to buff them with some Chaos Spawn and buffer them through. You can see he's sent all his force up here to try and take this point, but I'm sending more bodies up there just to be annoying. And you can see that the gap is growing. You know, we've won the fight down here. Swords of Chaos putting in some work. And now we're going to try and chop through the Mournfang cavalry and hold this third point. You can see that the point one's about to go to him. But having the 2 points for this long has really pushed my advantage again. So we're going to keep shoving up. We've got some Chaos Spawn here now, which should help this fight become a win quite easily. We've held capture point 3. There's not much they can do about that. And, you know, we've brought about 600 gold damage value in it, which isn't bad. The Hell Cannons really let this build down. I let them get caught way too early. You know, that's 2,200 gold that I could have spent on cavalry or more infantry. So we push up here. The Chaos Warriors are on the point, getting some body for some Chaos Spawn. He's now got to send all of his units back down to capture point 2, knowing that, you know, things are going to start going in my favour. But I'm more than happy. I'm creating pressure, and I'm making it so he has to dance to what I'm doing, not the other way around. Slaanesh is a faction where you really want to be playing proactively, not reactively. So by this, I'm constantly applying pressure, constantly bouncing toward different points, and just genuinely being a bit of a nuisance. Because now he's got to put a lot of forces mid, which is the vast majority of his forces. So I'm going to send some back top, and then, you know, bottom's held as well. So we're going to send the Swords of Chaos back down there to chop off these Ogre Balls, ensure that point stays in my control. And you can see that we're capturing point 1. Because I've sent units back up there, which is going to be quite a nuisance for him, because he's got to send all of his ogres back up there, because he's playing this singular blob, which is fine if you're playing against a faction like Dwarfs or Chaos Dwarfs that are as slow as yourself. But if you're playing against a force that's faster, you don't want to put your whole sort of army in one blob, because there's 3 objectives in this game, not 1. So you can see here I'm back to holding. Objective 3 is under my control. I'm about to take Objective 1. I mean, I'm about to win regardless. But you can see Objective 1's going back under my control. So more than happy about that. So we've got 3. 1's about to tip over. If he'd held 2 points the whole game, he probably would have beaten me. Well, not the whole game, but since he came back in the game after a bit of a rough start. But at this point, he's lost purely because I've outmaneuvered him. And we're just sending Chaos Warriors in to buy time, so we can't send these forces to another point and just leave 2 there. But you can see there it's a win. And let's look at some of the values we've got. See what we're working with. So these 2 absolutely pooped, did nothing all. Azazel, 2,636 is decent, I'll take it. 1,088 on those Chaos Warriors, 1,300 on those ones, 1,700 on those ones. You know, good value even from a Marauder Horseman. And then you can see from the Chaos Spawn, 1,100 value, 700 value, 700 value, they did well. 1,200 value, 900. Even the Marauders did well, just for filling the gaps. And the Mirror Guard, you know, the units pay themselves, which I'm more than happy to show. You know, guys, if you've liked this, you've enjoyed it, make sure you like, subscribe, drop a comment if you want to see something else. and I'll catch you on the next one.